Today we are going to study about the digestion, and we are going to deal with the digestive system. Digestion is the process which the body breaks down food into smaller molecules that can be absorbed and used for energy growth and repair. So digestion is a process whereby food is broken down into smaller molecules that can be used for growth, development, and repair of worn-out tissues. The processes involved in the process of digestion includes the mechanical and the chemical processes. Then the breakdown of these molecules takes place in the mouth, the stomach, and the intestines through the process of mechanical and chemical processes. Then after digestion, the nutrients are then absorbed into the body through the bloodstream. The digestive system in the human beings includes several parts, which include the mouth, the esophagus, the stomach, the small intestines, the large intestines, the rectum, and the anus. So video here for further introduction to this topic.
Digestive juices are powerful hydrochloric acids that kill pathogens in food and gives the stomach the low pH digestive enzyme. This acid could literally dissolve most of the other organs in your body. Luckily, your stomach contains a thick mucus lining. However, when there's too much acid in your stomach, it can eat away the inner surface of the stomach, causing an ulcer. The process of digestion takes longer for some types of food than others. Simple carbohydrates, such as an energy drink, break down the fastest. This explains why many recommend energy drinks for a quick energy boost. Proteins take longer to digest, and fats take the longest time of all. The stomach slowly empties its contents into your small intestine. The muscles of the small intestine mix food with digestive juices from the pancreas, liver, and intestine, and push the mixture forward for further digestion. The walls of the small intestine are covered by tiny finger-like projections called villi. These projections increase the surface area through which nutrients can be absorbed into your bloodstream. As peristalsis continues, the waste products of the digestive process move into the large intestine. The large intestine is named for the diameter of the cavity, not for its length. It is actually much shorter than the small intestine. Its role is to absorb any extra water from the digested material before it is finally excreted. If food passes through too quickly, too little water is absorbed, and you might have diarrhea. If it passes too slowly, your body absorbs too much water, and you may become constipated. It takes about 30 hours for food to move from the large intestine. All in all, the whole process, from the time you swallow food to the time it leaves your body as feces, takes about 2 to 4 days. Solid waste is characteristically brown and sticky. Do you know what causes its odor? If you guessed that bacteria are involved, you'd be right. Microbes that reside in the large intestine make a meal of the leftovers from the small intestine. The smell associated with stool comes from the gases released by bacteria. The large intestine then empties its contents into the job is to let you know that there is a stool to be evacuated and to hold the stool until the evacuation happens. Thank you for watching this video about how our heart or lung...
After that small video, we are going to continue, and I'm going to introduce my friend to take us through the process, starting with the mouth.
Okay, just as my colleague has said, there are several organs that are involved in the process of digestion. We have the mouth, we have got the small intestine, and we also have got the stomach. So I'll take you through the digestion process in the mouth. We say that at the mouth, the digestion process begins at the mouth. At the mouth, we have got the teeth, we also have got the tongue, and again, we also have got the salivary gland. The teeth is responsible for the breakdown of food particles, food into smaller particles. We also have got the salivary glands that is responsible for the production of saliva. Again, we have got the tongue that is responsible for the mixing of the food with the saliva. Thank you. Finally, we have got the saliva. The saliva contains the enzyme known as the salivary amylase. Salivary amylase is responsible for the it starts the breakdown of the carbohydrates. Allow me to welcome my next presenter to take you through the esophagus.
Okay, from the mouth, I'm going to take you through the esophagus. Now, esophagus is a muscular tube that connects the mouth to the stomach. Inside the esophagus, we have the rhythmic contraction and relaxation of the muscles under the process of peristalsis. In this process, food is taken from the mouth down to the stomach by peristalsis. Okay, now allow me to invite the next presenter to take on the next organ.
Okay, so I'm going to take you through the next organ, which is the stomach. Once the food from the esophagus enters the stomach produces gastric juice. This gastric juice contains the hydrochloric acid and pepsin. Hydrochloric acid is used in the killing of germs present in the food, and then pepsin helps in the digestion of proteins. Once the food is digested, the walls of the stomach contract and relax. This causes the food to turn in the stomach and is converted into a semi-liquid mixture, which is called churn, in a process of churning. So churning is the process whereby the walls of the stomach contract and relax rhythmically. So I'll now introduce you to the next presenter. So I'm going to introduce the next presenter to take us through the next organ.
So our next organ is the stomach. Food enters from our next organ is the small intestine. Now after food has gone from the stomach to the small intestines, most of the digestion and absorption takes place in the small intestine. In the small intestines you have three parts, that is the duodenum, the jejunum, and the ileum. The walls of the small intestines have finger-like projection known as the villi, which helps in the absorption of the food particles. Now we have the enzyme from the pancreas and the bile from the liver, which helps in the breakdown of carbohydrates, which is the starch, proteins, and fats. It helps in the breakdown of the starch, the carbohydrates, which is the starch, the proteins, and the fats, so that can be absorbed by the body into the bloodstream. Now our next organ is the large intestine. I will welcome our next presenter to cover on the large intestines.
I'm going to take you through the large intestines. This is where the undigested food, water, and the waste products pass. Okay, in the large intestines, absorption of water and electrolytes from the remaining food forming the feces. It also houses the bacteria that help in the breakdown of substances and produce the vitamins. I'll show you in the next presenter.
We have the rectum where feces are stored and eliminated through the anus purification.
We are done with the digestive processes, and these are the references we are going to get further information from. I'm going to introduce another video here where we are going to get a detailed information about the digestive process.
The human digestive system is very complex and has evolved over millions of years. It basically consists of the rectum, the large intestine, the small intestine, the pancreas, the stomach, also called gaster and ventriculus, and the liver with the gallbladder. The esophagus is also part of this system, as well as various salivary glands near the mouth. First, the food is broken up in the mouth by the teeth, and then mixed with saliva with the help of the salivary glands. Saliva contains a digestive enzyme called amylase that already begins to digest carbohydrates in the mouth. It splits carbohydrates into smaller units. The ball-like mixture of food with saliva, also known as bolus, is pushed into the throat by the tongue, and finally into the esophagus, which propels the bolus to the stomach. The esophageal lumen, that is, the opening inside the esophagus, is very flexible, which allows boluses of different sizes to be transported. The esophagus consists of several layers. These layers occur throughout the entire digestive tract. The two outer muscle layers are responsible for peristalsis. Through these two muscles, the bolus can be transported from the mouth to the stomach, even if the person is standing on his head. The stomach is often divided into 6 areas. The stomach is composed of a similar structure to the esophagus. It has a longitudinal muscle layer on the outside. Underneath, we can find circular muscle fibers. In addition to this, there is an oblique muscle layer overlaying the mucosa. On the inside, there are rugae that allow the stomach to enlarge when food is consumed. The stomach wall contains gastric glands. They produce mucus, which is able to protect the stomach wall from the secreted gastric acid. Gastric acid is produced by simply smelling or seeing food, but also spices, and the stretching of the stomach causes the secretion, that is, the release of gastric acid. About 1 to 2 liters of gastric juice are produced per day. Since the esophagus does not have a protective mucus layer like the stomach and esophagus are separated by a sphincter. It relaxes when a bolus is pushed from the esophagus into the stomach and then contracts to prevent acid and food of hydrochloric acid, the enzyme pepsin, the intrinsic factor, and lipase for the digestion of fat. In addition to nutrients, food also contains bacteria that can damage the body. The components of chloric acid are able to destroy harmful bacteria. In addition, hydrochloric acid converts pepsinogen, also released by the gastric glands, into pepsin. B12 absorption in the small intestine, the intrinsic factor is needed, which is produced by the gastric glands, absorbed later by the small intestine. Vitamin B12 helps keep the body's nerve and blood cells healthy and helps make DNA, an enzyme for fat digestion. In the stomach, gastric lipase splits a triglyceride into a free fatty acid and a diglyceride, whereby only the free fatty acid can be absorbed by the body. Through gastric juice and stomach movements, which take place approximately every 20 seconds, the individual boluses are mixed to a semi-fluid mass of partly digested food, the so-called 𝗖𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗜𝗡𝗦 at the stomach exit. The pyloric sphincter resembles the esophageal sphincter. The pyloric sphincter opens only a few millimeters, so that larger pieces remain inside the stomach. In the first section of the small intestine, the duodenum, bile, and pancreatic secretions are mixed with the chyme via the ampulla of Vater. In order for these to do their job, a higher pH value than that of the stomach is necessary. For this reason, pancreatic juice contains sodium hydrogen carbonate. Hydrogen carbonate is able to neutralize the acid in the chyme and thus produce the optimum pH value of 7 or 8. Pancreatic juice also contains proenzymes. It is only through enterokinase, released by the duodenum wall, that the proenzyme trypsinogen becomes trypsin, which can split proteins and activate other trypsinogens. We also find alpha amylase, which we had already found in the mouth. It now does the rest regarding the splitting of carbohydrates, which it converts into maltose and isomaltose into two free fatty acids. The gastric lipase, as we've seen before, can produce only one free fatty acid. The pancreatic lipase can cleave triglycerides excellently because the bile breaks the fats down into tiny droplets. This is called emulsification. Numerous other enzymes are part of pancreatic juice, but these will not be explained in detail here. Transported to the gallbladder. The bile is stored in the gallbladder and finally added to the food in the duodenum via the ampulla of Vater. The pancreas also releases juice via the ampulla of Vater. The small intestine consists of three sections: duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. The duodenum and the jejunum have circular folds to increase the contact surface with the food. These circular folds extend about 1 centimeter into the lumen of the small intestine. These folds are covered with small finger-like projections called villi. Villi increase the surface considerably. Villus contains blood capillaries and a lymphatic capillary called lacteum, which we will see later. The nutrients, marked green here, are absorbed by the villus and transferred to the blood capillaries. Not require a carrier. They are transported freely in the bloodstream. Other nutrients, such as iron, require transport proteins like transferrin. By chylomicrons, which are lipoproteins. The triglycerides to be transported are virtually enclosed in the lipoprotein. Rides are then transported through the lacteal of the villus. Each villus is covered by even smaller microvilli. They multiply the intestinal surface considerably. The microvilli absorb nutrients and transport them to the inside. Small intestine is the ileum. It does not have, unlike the duodenum and jejunum, circular folds. The ileum absorbs electrolytes, such as calcium, for building bones, hair, and teeth. trace elements such as zinc for sperm production and the immune system. Vitamins such as B12 for the formation and maturation of red blood cells, the liver via the bloodstream. In contrast, segmentation contractions serve to mix the chime, which is shown here in yellow and red, to make it easier to see the mixing process. One meter long and surrounds the small intestine. The small intestine is connected to the large intestine via the Bowles valve. It opens when chime is to pass from the small intestine to the large intestine. The large intestine does not have any villi like the small intestine because most digestible substances have already been absorbed in the small intestine. However, the large intestine has an estimated 100 billion bacteria inside. They are important for many other tasks, such as the production of vitamins and the decomposition of fiber for the body's energy production, and harmful germs. Through peristalsis, the chime is transported from the ascending colon to the transverse colon to the descending colon. Furthermore, mucus is added for proper excretion of waste. Substances that cannot be absorbed through the small intestine or the large intestine remain in the rectum and are finally excreted through the anus.
Basically, after finishing now with our video, I'm introducing a chart which will also help us understand the digestive system and digestive process. Here we have the esophagus, which ensures that the food from the mouth here is moved from here to the stomach. We have the salivary glands in the mouth, which help produce the salivary amylase, which is to start the digestion of carbohydrates. In the stomach, they have muscles which contract and relax, and mix the food into a semi-liquid known as the churn. Also in the stomach, they produce the gastric juice, which provides the HCl and the pepsin, which help increase the germs and the breakdown of proteins. Then from the stomach, it goes to the duodenum, where the food now mixes with the bile from the gallbladder and you have the enzymes from the pancreas. Also, we have the duodenum down here. Then we have the ileum. After that, after the ileum, we have the largest ones here. We have the ascending colon, the transfer colon, and the descending colon. After that, the food moves from the descending colon into the rectum. In the rectum, the pieces are stored so that they are released at the time is right through the anus, through the sphincter muscles of the anus. Thank you.